Hello everyone. This video is part of a series where we are implementing a microservices-based social media application. We are using NodeJS for our back-end services and React for our front-end. Our main goal here is to learn the microservices patterns as well as some of the main challenges that come with it and solutions, right? So here is the current task we are working on, as well as a plan for the near future. Of course, there is much more than this, but here is just a brief, very quick plan. Here is a more detailed breakdown of our first 3 areas that we will be working on. And of course, there is much more coming, as I said. So if you want to check this, you can pause the video and check it by yourself. We're also using a Jira board to track the progress of our tasks. So you see me coming quite often here whenever we need to do some planning or change things around. In the previous video, we have added this isVerified Boolean flag to our user model or to our user schema. And now we are able to store in the user document whether the user is verified or not. What is missing from the previous video, and we will work on now, is the functionality of setting this isVerified to false whenever we create the user for the first time. So let's come back to our user test, and I will start the test watcher from Jest. We will add a new test here. So how can I call this? I think it would make sense to say it should set isVerified to false on first save, even if the provided value is set to true. Now, this is something that I want to enforce at the model level, right? So I want to ensure that whenever we are creating a new user in our application, that user is going to be created by default as false or as not verified, and the user then needs to verify his or her email address. So how do I do that? Or actually, before going to the how do I do that, let's think about the test, right? So this test is quite straightforward. Again, I want to create a new user and then say that this is going to await user.create. And here I will spread the user info object and I will set the isVerified flag to true, like so. This is going to try to reach out to our user model and call the method user.create with the flag isVerified to true. However, what I would expect here, once the user is created, I would expect my new user.isVerified to equal false. So as you can see, this is going to fail, right? So this test here is going to fail. Give it a couple of seconds to start it up again. Exactly, so our test is failing as we expected. Here we have received a value of true, but we were expecting to receive a value of false. How do we do that? Well, everything we need to do is simply add a new pre-save hook in Mongoose, right? So if you remember from some videos ago, we discussed that we can add some middleware, some function to Mongoose to run before we save an object. And so for every method here from Mongoose, we should be able to add a pre-method hook. So let's do this here. It can be after the validate uniqueness and before the hash password or after the hash password, it doesn't matter. So one small comment is that if any of these pre-hooks fail, the hooks that are added afterwards, they are not going to be executed. So if we fail to validate uniqueness of the user, meaning if the email is already in the database, then the subsequent hooks, both the hash password and the verification hook, or this hook that is going to set the isVerified to false, they will not run. right? And that's okay, because if a pre-hook fails, then we have an error and it makes sense not to continue executing other hooks. So I'll just copy and paste this, and I will call this hook, I think it would make sense to call it, let's say, set is verified to false on first save, and this I will receive this as the user document and the next function. Now, if you want to get rid of this next function, you can also get rid of this next function. Okay, so in an async middleware, it's fine if you just execute some logic and Mongoose will automatically continue with the execution of the other pre-hooks, even without you calling the next function. Here, for consistency, I'm going to leave it like so. So in our hook, what we need to know is whether the user already exists, right? So if the user already exists, we don't want to execute, or we don't want to set the is verified to false, because we want to set the is verified to false only on the first serve. So I will find my user.find1 with the email of this.email. And if there is no user in my database with this email here, then I'll copy and paste here from the bottom. Then I want to set my field is verified to false, like so. And then the field of this incoming document from within the Mongoose or the pre-save hook, it will set the field is verified to false independently of the value that is entering our pre-save hook. Let's save this and let's see if this is enough for our tests to pass. Exactly, that's enough for our tests to pass. Now there is another test I want to add here, and it is the test that will check whether we are allowed to update the is verified field, right? It would be very bad if we were not able to change the value of is verified, because we want to change the value of is verified if the user accesses the link with the respective verification token. So for this, I will add a new test here at the bottom. That's going to be called it should allow to change is verified to true if the user already exists. Right, and this is going to be again an async function. And the idea here is that this pre-save hook is going to set the field is verified to false only if the user does not exist. If the user already exists, then this field is not going to be touched. The function will continue with the value that we receive from our new document. So it should allow to change is verified to true if the user already exists. How do we do that? Well, we can create a new user, right? It's going to be await user.create, and it's going to be with the user info from above. And what we are going to do now is we are going to try to update the user, right? So we will have an updated user, and this is going to use the method find1 and update, right? Like so, from the user model here. Once I have the find1 and update method, this can do the operation of finding the user and updating the user all in one go, right? So I need to pass a couple of arguments here. So I think it's actually better if I don't start with an object there, but I need to start passing a couple of objects. If I come here to define one and update definition, so I'm just holding Command on Mac or Control on Windows, and I click here, I come to the definition file. And the find one and update has several declarations. So if you want to check all of them, you can stop and have a look. But what is interesting for us is this one, I think, so with the conditions, exactly. So the conditions the update. So this definition here, it's quite hard to find. So we will pass 3 objects. The first one is going to be the condition. That's going to be the query that we will use to find the object. Then we will have an update object, which is going to specify the new values for the fields. And then we will have an options object, which in our case is going to return, or is going to say with a new colon true, because I want to return the new or the updated object from this function. So let's define all these 3 objects. The first one is that I want to find the user by its ID, and that's going to be just new user._ID. That's the first one. The second one we need to pass is the one that says that I want to set is verified to true, right? That's the second argument. And the third argument is the argument that says that I want to return the new saved user or the new updated user. So now here I have the new instance of the user with the modified value of is verified. So what I would expect here, I would expect first of all my updated user to be defined, and I would expect the updated user.isVerified to equal true, right? So this I think should work. I will add this here because it may be the case that TypeScript starts to complain that the updated user can be undefined or something like this, or it can be null. The object is possibly null, right? So we already ran into this problem in the past. So I'll just add this exclamation dot in case you're seeing the error. Now, if I save this file, I believe all our tests should pass, because the logic we implemented in the user model accounts for this. So it already accounts for updating users. Exactly, all our tests are passing. So with this, we are now able to both set the isVerified flag at the beginning automatically to false, right? So it will automatically be set to false whenever we create a user, and we are able to update this isVerified flag. Now, what is missing in our implementation is generating the verification token and creating an entity in another collection, the account verification collection, and then sending the email with the link to the user. If you're interested in getting updates in my channel, so receiving notifications every time I upload a new video, and I have a lot of plans for that, then make sure to subscribe to the channel, and every time a new video is available, you will get a small notification. I try to upload at least 2 videos every day, 7 days a week. So you will have a lot of new things to check if you follow the channel. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.